Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. What is going on? No sound yet. Wonder why. I believe I'm live. I just can't hear much. Hold on, you guys. Let's get my sound checked out. Hold on. Things are going haywire here. Nothing yet. Here we go. There you guys got it. Old wires kind of suck. You know, you have to fix these things every once in a while. What's going on, you guys? Live Wednesday edition on the watch list. Real quick. Actually, it's not going to be really quick. I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. Nothing about this session here with me and you guys live is going to be quick. What's going on, Benjamin Morrill? You love these drops. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat as well. Said I knew this. Oh, you already know what we're going to talk about. I forgot I put it in the titles every time I jump in. Good to see you guys filing in. This is going to be a fun little session here as we're talking about what's going on in the political world. As usual, back on live. That's correct, Cindy D. And what's up, Amish Kashuo? Good to see you guys. You better be happy you aren't interviewing Trump and then Mike isn't working properly. We're going to talk about that, Melissa Bolsey. Good to see you guys. I see you guys coming in. It must be a good time of day to do this. I hope it is. You know, I have to appeal to everyone's time frame across the country. Make sure you guys aren't working too hard, but maybe talk about some frustrating things. Today was another revealing day when it comes to who's formerly the president of the United States and who would like to be the president again. There was all of this controversy about the National Association of Black Journalists and inviting Kamala Harris and then not inviting the vice president back on, and then the Zoom call issues. There's a lot of drama. And I was like, yeah, you know, the biases and sometimes the people's particulars come out. But they did get Donald Trump in the building. And boy, did he not disappoint. I mean, he maybe disappointed his supporters and followers, but he definitely didn't disappoint the people who know who he really is. There's 11 minutes that Aaron Rupar put together. And so I'm going to give a shout out to him for doing a lot of things that I like to do, but he had it already together when I was speaking about other things. Let's go through his several minutes of some of the worst moments, best moments, depending on who you're talking to, from Trump's appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists. He went to speak to Black journalists who weren't afraid to ask questions. You know what, man? Let's get started. This is crazy. This was crazy. Hold on, let me share it with you guys. Some wild stuff.
People did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims from Nikki Haley to former President born in the United States, which is not true.
Yeah.
You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
She's with ABC.
And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further.
Let me go a step further.
I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters
question.
can trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed
answer.
the Voting Rights
And
Act.
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
So that's question number one. There was a lot there. It was over 2.5 minutes. The question was simple. So you've said this many things about black folks, brown folks, any folks that aren't you. Devastatingly disgusting, hateful things. She went through just some of the things he said and done and said, how do you expect? You've been doing this black voters thing. Oh, black folks love me. Cool, you can announce that all you want. The question is, how do you expect black folks to vote for you when you told black folks that you absolutely despise them, that they're lower members of society? And then even in his answer, he said he saved the historically black colleges and universities. Did you? Or did you? Roland Martin was probably one of the folks in the audience because I saw a post interview that he had with someone else shouting about how he's lying about that. Because, of course, his actual policies towards those, after he announces he's doing so much things for saving their ass of the black colleges that he was talking about, was he eliminated those things within his budget and his agenda. Just like the aspects of his policy when he was talking about freeing folks from jail that were unnecessarily imprisoned, and he had that one woman come out and he let her out. But in the meantime, his policy actually shut down those opportunities for people to continue to not have to be thrown in jail over many miniature offenses that are put in place so they can throw folks in prison for small reasons that they want, and they choose which one of those folks breaking the law gets to do it. That's beside the point. Point is, he was lying the entire time up there. But he was upset, and he said her line of question was nasty. Can't you say such a nasty thing to me? All she said was the nasty things that you've said. Pretty straightforward. But it's definitely one indication of how he can't handle the heat when someone asks him a question about his record. Just his record on how much he despises a certain percentage of the population. He hates certain folks. And when she brought it up, boy, was that nasty. Not nasty that he said it. It's nasty that she brought it up. Let's let this a-hole continue. Here's the next question. By the way, this whole thing that again Aaron Rupar threw together here, I've seen aspects of it. I haven't seen it all. So this is an actual straightforward response I'm getting. Let's go.
Their questions here. Your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words.
then. Would you give me a definition of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe different. So
really fast, because these answers go a little bit, and I have some points I want to make really fast. Just in him saying right then, well, tell DEI. What is DEI? Say it, go. So he's going and barking and talking about how someone needs to define DEI for him, because what he needed to do, I just want to give you guys a little insight here. What he was trying to do was buy himself a little bit of time, because he was asked, Republicans are saying Kamala Harris and anyone else that isn't a rich, straight, white Christian male, if not for those folks, they're calling everyone a DEI hire, lowering their value as an employee or a boss, anything. And he can't say, I don't want Republicans saying that, because he says that. because they think that's a winning message. So he had to buy himself a little bit of time to find a way to still keep those racist base active underneath him, but then also try to find a way to deny that what they're claiming is DEI is just black and brown folks that we don't think are worthy of anything in this country except the crumbs that we may toss their way. That's why he was buying his time asking about, so what DEI? Go. So as he was barking back and forth, that's when he bought the time to then give this horrible answer.
A long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are. We had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why.
So that's Harris Fox News. You saw a quick little edit there. And the back end of his annoyance with the question, which of course his answer was, well, you know, she is Indian one day and black the next. She's promoting being an Indian before, and now she's promoting being a black person now. I don't know what his plan was. I'm not sure if he thinks he's gonna go in there, talk like that, and then this room full of journalists, then they go, oh yeah, no, all those things we've been hearing that you're saying and the way you approach everything is totally wrong, man. I like how you went and told us who we are, told other folks who they are, and how their questions are too nasty. Let me calm it down for you. As everything he's ever done has been nasty, has been aggressive, has been angry, and has been vindictive. That's his entire energy. That's his entire character. That's who he is. So on the back end of that, he mentioned, you're giving me this nasty line of questioning. Unlike Harris over there, Harris Faulkner from Fox News, who I think she does the Outnumbered, and sometimes appears on the Fox and Friends, one of those morning shows. But she brings up how Harris Faulkner interviewed me and she wasn't mean. Oh, you mean my one black friend that came in here to run some cover for me? She's not mean like you guys are. Like he hit every one of the racist stereotypes that you can hit. Every one of the identifiable factors that shows who he is and how he thinks. Well, black ass Harris Faulkner over there didn't get mean to me. She doesn't ask me questions about my disgusting approach to politics. And Harris Faulkner has to sit there and go, yeah, it's me. I'm the one black friend that he uses for these types of purposes. As a matter of fact, we got more from this, but really fast, because Harris Faulkner was talking about her time there and their experience there. We're going to get into the half-hour wait as well here from that first question. You guys, this is Harris Faulkner, who we were just talking about, and her response to what was going on there. Ms. Faulkner.
So about what you couldn't see today was how much of that audience was enjoying the moment of hearing from a candidate that they might not always agree with.
They were enjoying
and that is the whole point. That is the growth of journalism, to be able to listen and question those things that you may not know about because you don't often talk to that person or those people. That was the goal here. So for all of that pushback, young journalists that I'm talking to after the event are saying, well, we're glad he's here. And look, you're always going to have a situation like we had today. It was very hard to hear on that dais because of the way the microphones were. They had a lot of technical issues going into this to make this happen. So the delay that there was out to the public that the former president was talking about had a lot to do with that. So
there's a lot of a delay. Sorry, let me stop this, you guys. So she said that delay was part of the sound issues. She couldn't really hear everything. The delay that he mentioned was 35 minutes long, that he said they were having technical issues and how dare you be rude to me and I come on this late. Apparently, the way it's been reported from first Philip Lewis over on Twitter, but then also the New York Times. Yeah, the New York Times also backed him up. Let me show you guys that really quickly, just so you guys want to see what I hear. So, Philip Lewis pointed out that there was actually a delay because they were battling over whether or not they should be able to live fact check him on the stage as he was lying. So the New York Times pointed this out. About 45 minutes before Trump took the stage, the former president pushed back on the NABJ staffers who wanted to live fact check the event, to a person familiar with the plan. The board pushed back against the last-minute demand from Trump for the not fact check. When Trump took the stage, he said the delay was due to NABJ's audio issues. That's what he's going with now. That's the plan. That's the plan. So you don't want live fact checking to happen. So you have to lie about how they were late because of that live fact checking. When in reality, you didn't want them to check the lies that you were going to tell. So let's blame it on the technical issues. And the reason he went and shot out Harris Faulkner is because he knew someone like her would then get on camera for her network and say, yeah, it was the technical issues that held us up for the 35 to 40 minutes. That was the problem. Let me back up President Trump's lies. Let's get back to his lies. How about that? This continued on. I don't want to take too long on this because there's plenty to go through.
It is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race.
Oh, we just found that out. Oh, we just found that out.
And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are Black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking Black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a Black job?
A Black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
Well, and
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from Black people coming in.
Bro, he hasn't even fleshed out this explanation. People have been asking weeks, what the hell is a Black job? It's one of the probably the worst things that happened from the debate where Joe Biden froze up 8 times. Yo, he hasn't even ironed out his answer of what is a Black job. He said it's a job that anybody can get, except it's for Black people. Which one is it, bro? And how is it that these migrants are coming in and taking Black jobs? Why aren't they taking white jobs? Why aren't you saying jobs? I think that's what they were asking. Again, this is the first time I've gone through this, so I have to pause on that point because it didn't make any sense.
And they're coming in. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million going down. And our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same. It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms. When you look statistically, how do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment. Because I guess this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you. But I can hear every other word. It's very difficult.
Doesn't matter
actually.
a lot anyway.
But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it. But I'll do the best I can with it.
So Sonia
That's all they
Massey,
had. I guess they didn't want to give that.
someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff.
Here's the latest, I guess, publicized shooting of police in a Black woman's home. So that's where we're going with this, and I think you guys saw that. I talked about that.
You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the
You need a
exact
definition?
case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police.
It didn't
I mean,
look-
police unions are not backing this person
Okay,
either.
okay.
What
But
didn't
again,
look
I
right?
would.
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
Yes.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happened.
And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You've said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he on day?
Hold on. This wasn't edited again by me, but I would love to have heard how he tried to figure out to say that things were wrong with that situation with the pot of hot water for the woman in Illinois when the cops rolled in and told her to take the hot water off of the stove before then shooting her in the face. Just want to remind you guys of what it is he saw that was so odd about these two police officers in this woman's home. Just point that out. He had nothing to do with that either. Continue.
One, ready on day one, if he has to be.
It's
I've
JD.
always had great
This is
respect
great.
for
I
him.
did see this.
And for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. I think I'd know. Look, if I stage like this and I got
He's going to get mad again, man. This JD Vance, which also stood out, I think, pretty significantly. They asked him if JD Vance would be ready on day one. I mean, anytime you have a vice president or running mate come in, part of the appeal to be where he's from, his qualifications, and if the president is unable to complete his tasks and do his job, the vice president steps in. If something bad happens to the president, Donald Trump just got shot at a few weeks ago. If that had gone really badly for him, you would need, if he was the president at the time, you would need the vice president to be able to come in and continue on. But I guess when it comes to choosing a vice presidential candidate or a running mate for Donald Trump, it doesn't really matter. It's more about the president. It is a lot more about the president. But I think the vice president is a bigger deal than just trotting him out there for the RNC so that you can look like you have someone that you hope enough people want to vote for. That's his only purpose. He thinks anyone in a position of working for him or with him is there to completely serve just him, not anyone else, especially when it comes to politics and representative government. He doesn't have to associate with anyone else. He wants to serve him. He is the focus of everything. 100% of the world, the universe surrounds Donald Trump in his mind. So JD Vance doesn't have to be prepared to be president of the United States. You kidding me? This is about me. That's his answer to him. And maybe it's partially he's trying to distance himself from him a bit because, JD doesn't look too good lately. There's only a couple minutes left of this, you guys. Let's see.
treated so rudely. And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was that wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your
Answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well, can
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you,
Yeah.
I would like to have, what's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed
But sir, my
that
question
city?
is on
What's
those.
going to happen to
My
the people
question is
that
on
tried
those
to burn
rioters
down?
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Would
ask,
you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon those-
innocent- If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. They were, how come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the
But
people
sir, we're
that-
talking about
how
people
come
that
the
were
people-
seen
no,
beating
We're
officers
talking
with
about federal
flagpoles,
buildings.
dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that
Really?
video,
Oh,
sir?
really? Well, they
You would
shot.
pardon those? You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in
140
Minneapolis.
officers
You know,
were
people died at taking your jobs. These people coming in are
2020.
2025, it sounds like Harris Faulkner is going to go on and stand for him. You know, I don't even want to assume it. Maybe she will come in and actually ask him a question about it. But really fast on the immunity for his rioters and his insurrectionists, and also for his police officers. Apparently, when a January 6th insurrectionist, traitor to the country, runs into the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power, and she gets shot, you know, she shot her in the face. You know who else was shot in the face by the same cops that you just said you'd give immunity to? Did you hear the difference in what he thinks is legal and not legal? Folks who got prosecuted and then convicted in this country that he says has the best judicial system in the world up until this point, they were convicted by a tough system, but you know, maybe an unjust system is what he's trying to point out. Anything that doesn't match up with what I like, with what I think will assist me in my quest for dominance over this country, anything that isn't for me is done incorrectly. If it's done the exact same way, but it's my people, it's absolutely wrong. I can call for the exonerated five to go to prison. To this day, doesn't take back anything that he said about folks. Didn't look anywhere into these police shootings where he said it looks a little weird what happened. What was weird that he saw that happen was there was a black person who got shot by cops. And then after that black person got shot by cops, people got upset about it. He thinks that's offensive. Here's the last, 30 seconds of this guy. Almost called him a name.
I think by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
They've been. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm gonna say thank you. I'm gonna say thank you very much. It was a great honor, as if that was a successful appearance that he made there at the National Association for Black Journalists. He didn't like some of the pushback he was getting from the audience. You could hear that a bit. Also, some of his supporters that were apparently in the building didn't like it either. As I mentioned earlier, Roland Martin got into a big back and forth in, I guess, the general area outside over some of the things that Roland Martin said to him that he was lying about. Yo, man, he wants no fact checks. He wants no debates. He doesn't want questions asked of him about the things he's said and done and his record. We can see why he's running from the debate with Vice President Harris. We understand where this guy's coming from. He doesn't like anything that he is not controlling. That's why he's spiraling right now. And you would think someone would tell him, bro, calm down. At least act like you're okay with someone saying something to you that isn't, yes, sir. Can I kiss your ass again, sir? For some reason, he can't handle it. And he really can't handle it when it's black folks. And he really, really, really can't handle it when it's black women that are asking these questions. That's Donald Trump's issue. There's one more thing that I want to show you. Two more things I want to show you guys. The response from this, the fallout of how this whole thing went down. So Donald Trump, again, that reporter was from ABC, the first one who asked that this is what Trump then truthed out. Apparently still upset. Aaron Rupar reposted this, re-X'd. ABC News, ABC fake news, one of the worst in America. This is like how long after his appearance there, he was upset about ABC News still. Can't believe you put that black woman in front of my face to ask me questions about what I've said and done. He's a child. He's a tantrum-throwing child. One last thing. So, of course, really fast after that, Vice President Harris's campaign had a little bit of a statement about what it is that we all just saw and understand who it is that we just saw it from. He's not doing himself any favors, but he thinks, read this really fast. It's only a couple of paragraphs. The hostility Donald Trump showed on stage today is the same hostility he's shown throughout his life, throughout his term in office, and throughout his campaign for president as he seeks to regain power and inflict his harmful Project 2025 agenda on the American people. Trump lobbed personal attacks and insults at black journalists the same way he did throughout his presidency, while he failed black families and left the entire country digging out of the ditch he left us in. Trump has already proven he can't unite America, so he attempts to divide us. No truer words spoken. Today's tirade is simply a taste of the chaos and division that has been a hallmark of Trump's MAGA rallies and entire campaign. It's also exactly what the American people will see from across the debate stage as VP Harris offers a vision of opportunity and freedom for all Americans. All Donald Trump needs to do is stop playing games and actually show up to the debate on September 10th. So there's a glimpse of Donald Trump responding to people who push back on him. So we can see why he's talking about wanting to be a dictator. We can see why he's talking about shutting down the oppositional media that is against him by asking him questions about who he is and why he expects to actually get votes from folks. We can see why he's teamed up with these folks from Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, who also handpicked J.D. Vance to be their guy, is because they don't care about anyone in this country except for themselves. That's the only purpose this guy is going towards, making sure that he and any of his cohorts don't have to spend any time in jail or are facing even a bit of the consequences that they've generated for themselves. If you step back and stop acting like people that act like children or that act like angry racists aren't exactly what they're telling you they are, they'll continue to do it. The problem that these guys are having is that finally there's a large enough group of people in the country who aren't just saying it and not hearing it. It's getting funneled through to journalists and politicians who will take these conversations and these accusations about what he's done on stage and to his face. They're not ready for that stuff. It's always having the water carried for them. Donald Trump's got to start carrying his own water. And when people ask him about it, he has no way of answering that isn't, how dare you? Well, bro, nobody wants a president that says, how dare you? Except now he thinks he can get away with it if he's in office and kicks everyone out that isn't a yes man. This is all lined up for what he thinks will work out for him. So his appearance there at NABJ didn't work out that well for him. Was that concise enough? Get it all together, or as Donald Trump would do constantly? Good to see you guys. There's been a lot of chats going on here. I'm not sure if anyone thought that was a good appearance. I don't think Donald Trump thought it was a good appearance. That's why he went after ABC News afterwards. It's devastating. These are the folks that have been running our country. I think it's about time we stop this kind of process. These kind of people that are the leaders of our country and call themselves leaders of the world. We'll see you guys next time. This was wonderful. Sorry about the lagging. I have no idea why. I changed what was going on last time, but out of my hands. Out of my hands. This technical issue that you guys had for the past 30, 45 minutes isn't my fault. Get Disney, keep that away from me. We'll see you guys later.